consistency in tackling, and I thought that gave him some yards that we shouldn't have given up, and lack of consistency in blocking in the second half. Seemed every down was 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8. It's hard to operate that way against a good defense, but again, you know, I think it's a game that you had opportunities we didn't take advantage of.
With that, we'll take questions.
George, can you take us through that sequence just before halftime? Were you thinking?
Yeah, well, my thought was I knew it was 3rd down, but you know, I've been through this before where whatever you do, don't take a sack. So that's why I was setting the field goal team out and stuff. They said, no, Coach, we can get a play. I said, no, we can't. Just make sure we throw it through the end zone. Whatever you do, don't take a sack so we can kick a field goal before the half. Yes, Coach, I know, Coach. No problem. Well, we didn't do it. You can't give up points like that. But again, I think the second half we went out and offensively we had opportunities to make some plays, but I just didn't think we were as crisp blocking and moving our feet as we were in the first half. And I thought we got to make some better decisions at the quarterback position a little bit there. I think he was hassled a bunch as far as pressure, I thought. And we just got to make plays in those situations. And I thought defensively was put in some tough situations. We must have had 3 or 4 3-and-outs in a row in the second half. And defensively held up, but you can't miss tackles. That gave up some big plays, and that gave up most of the yardage. And then a missed tackle on the touchdown in the first half. So again, consistency in tackling and the lack of consistency and staying on blocks in the second half, I think, were the reasons for the lack of. We ran 80 plays to their, I think, 57 or something. So I mean, you had opportunities, you just had to take advantage of.
Coach, was the team deflated by not getting more out of their time of possession advantage and plus that close call in the red zone in the first half?
No, I mean they don't even know how many plays they run and stuff. But I don't think there was anything except you got to make plays when you have the opportunity. I think a lot has to do with your offensive line that I think protected very well in the second half. I think Blake was under the gun a little bit at times, but you still got to make throws. You got to make throws, and I think defensively, I thought it hung in there against a team that, you know, keeps the ball spread, and we allowed to miss a couple of tackles there, and that's where the touchdown came from. But again, I think it's more so we had opportunities we didn't take advantage of.
Coach, how big of a momentum sapper was that at the end of the first half, though, if you guys could have gone in there?
Well, I think it would have been great if we got the 3 points or gone in for a touchdown. And obviously, that's what you're trying to get done, but you know, you never want to walk away without any points. That's the worst that could happen. But you know, when we were in halftime, we went over. I said, fellas, move on. There's nothing you can do about that except they learn from experience that hey, there's a reason that you got to throw the ball, even ground it. Because at least going 15 yards, you got a chance to kick a field goal. All right, but that was the problem coming with no points. But that wasn't the problem in the second half. The problem in the second half was, I think, a lack of too many 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8s, not enough yards on first down.
Coach, were you surprised by the adjustments that Missouri made at half because they came out looking like a completely different team?
They didn't make any adjustments. I get a kick out of you people that go, you think all these people make adjustments. They didn't make any adjustments. They just got solid, which they were in the first half. They didn't make any adjustments. We didn't block them. That was the only difference. I thought they played like I thought they could play second half.
Coach, your offense was on the field for less than 5 minutes in the third quarter. Do you think the fatigue had something to do with the points you gave up in the second half?
What?
The fatigue. Do you think fatigue for your defense had anything to do with the points you gave up?
No, I missed tackles. We had 2 or 3 missed tackles. I think the defense gave us what they had. I'll be honest with you. They missed some tackles, but you know, they kept us in the game in the second half. Offensively, you just can't put, especially in a spread offense, you can't put your defense on the field 3 downs and out, 3 downs and out. That wears me. But I don't think I thought they hung in there and they were trying to make plays, and you know, it came right down to the last 4th and 1 trying to stop to get the ball back. So we have to improve our tackling on defense, but I think if they keep working the way they're working, they'll be fine.
So is your biggest thing now is to kind of correct that blocking up front? Is that
consistency. I just didn't think they didn't do anything different than they did the first half. They're the same thing, except they got off blocks and we didn't sustain them. That was the only difference. Same thing. They didn't do anything different. They went to some solid front, which they did in the first half, but we were staying on blocks and a lot more crisper than we were in the second half. And I think from a consistency standpoint, that's what I said. We got to get that done. That was the difference, I think, in the game.
Why do you think that happened?
Well, I think basically is that we don't move our feet. We gotta constantly remind about things that have to get done. Plus, I think you gotta move the chains. I think we had opportunities to move the chains a couple of times, and you can't turn the ball over. You can't be dropping balls that you have a chance to catch. I mean, all those things add up after a while.
Coach, a couple of fairly close losses to some big name non-conference teams. Now you go into the league. What do you tell your team?
Nothing. I just told them, I said, hey fellas, you can't be inconsistent in blocking and catching the ball, and wide receivers maintain. I mean, we're throwing screens out there, and then DBs are making tackles. Wide receivers aren't blocking anybody. So I mean, there's a lot of people that you look at, but we just got to get better. And I'm not pointing the finger at any one group. I'm just saying that from a consistency standpoint, we didn't block like we need to block all over the offensive field.
You were close in games against Ohio State and Missouri. Do you look at these as lost opportunities? Or?
Yeah, they're losses. I mean, they're losses. They win, we lose. I mean, that's how you look at those games. And I mean, there's a big difference between really wanting to win and not wanting to lose. And as I told our team, we got to basically leave the field. You either win or lose. There's no you played well, because that can't be the answer either. So, but I think we can grow on this, correct some of the mistakes there, and I think we had it going well early in the game, started mixing it up a little bit and all that. They started playing a little bit wider, but you still got to maintain your run responsibility, consistency inside. We didn't do that.
How difficult is the short week ahead? You got East Carolina on Thursday. I mean, can these players kind of put this loss out of their mind and move forward right away? Or I mean, what's your experience with that?
Players are very resilient. Coaches aren't. All right, players are very resilient.
So it's tougher on the coaches to get
how would
prepared
you
for a
like
game
to
on
see
Thursday.
that mess? Now you have to watch it and grade it. Yeah, that's what I got to go watch that game for 3 hours and grade it, and then get into East Carolina before tomorrow. So you guys just got to watch it. Now you can go home. I got to watch it, grade it, and then go through it again. So you better off hitting the press conference after the 3 hours so I can tell you what really took place.
Is it more frustrating for you or for a coach when you play as well as you did in the first half and see that you could have won the game and then you don't win it?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. There's nothing different. You become a cheerleader on the sideline. That's what you feel like. Come on, this and that. But I tell you what, we just need something to happen good for the offense in a second. And you can see when we complete a couple of plays in that last surge before we turned it over, it's a little like a shot in the arm. That's the things that need to happen.
Anything else for Coach?